Then we began to see that we needed more than one person in a congregation, probably a team in a congregation. And then we began to realize that when we talk about ordination, whether it's the servant ministry of diaconate or the reconciliation and unifying ministry of priesthood around a table or apostolic oversight, that those ingredients are present in every congregation or need to be present because they really reflect the responsibility of an adult Christian person. That every responsible adult Christian has a servant ministry that no deacon can do for them, a ministry of reconciliation that cries out at home and in the workplace for forgiveness and for inclusion and unity, and that there is oversight of our environment, oversight of our judicial system, oversight of children and parenting. And all of this, we began to see that serious, responsible adults could be reminded, encouraged, and supported by priestly, diaconal, and apostolic ministry, that the ordered ministry was not something that one did separately and owned as a piece of territory, but rather it broke open and unfolded the significance, the solemnity of adult Christian living day by day. This was a significant change of appreciation and of view and of vision, because it now meant that we could bring back into a unity adult Christian lives of the baptized with the ordained ministry, that they would not be separating, segregating, adversarial on occasion, and territorial, but they would in fact now be integrated around baptism. We will know that it has finally found fruition when it reaches beyond having an ordained priest, when it reaches beyond having a team of diaconal, priestly, and apostolic ministry, when it reaches into the very homes and solemnizes, gives significance, richness, excitement to every adult Christian.
When the focus for ministry is centered in the priest, then often we do come up with a kind of a consumerism, in which we understand that the ministry is something that is purchased from the professional provider. And the job of the minister is to minister, and the job of the congregation is to congregate and to pay for the bills, to pay for the building and to pay the salary of the professional cleric, who then ministers to us and on our behalf. Instead, we in this diocese have been discovering a shift away from that kind of ecclesiology towards one which really hands back to all of the baptized responsibility for their own life and mission.
I remember when we were first starting with the first part of the curriculum, trying to help those who had been invited to diaconal, priestly, apostolic issues. And when we talked about diaconal ministry, they could come up from their journal, incidences at home or at work where they had served or been served. In fact, when we talked about apostolic ministry, they picked up the oversight in terms of vestry and standing committee, bishop's committee responsibilities. But when we said, now tell us in your journal where you're involved in priestly ministry, they had a devil of a time identifying those centers and those incidents in their life. And as we talked about it more in terms of reconciliation, unity, inclusion, then I remember one, a John Sola, who said, I drive a bus. He said, I'll get kids on that bus who are fussing on the way to school. And he said, just the other day, I said, listen, the two of you work this out before you get on the bus this evening, or you're not going home on this one. And helps them work this out and sees that now as a priestly ministry.
In other words, there have for generations been people in our midst who have been true pastors, who have been true teachers, those who have helped lead the congregation in liturgy and also in other areas in terms of administration, in terms of oversight of the buildings, in terms of providing an ongoing direction for the congregation. And because of the particular polity and customs that we've had, we've tended to abdicate those roles sometimes and again focus them back on the priest. But in our midst have always been those who have provided significant models to the rest of us. And perhaps what we're being invited to do now is to ask those people to come forward, to own that leadership role within the congregation, and to be affirmed and supported by the clergy and others in the diocese and in the region and in the local congregation to mature in that and to invite others to share in that.